Good afternoon with everyone. Who speaks, Cleofé Alvites-Huamaní and my colleagues, Janio Jaden Guerrero and Patricia Costa Vargas present the presentation titled Virtual Academic Mobility, Social and Educational Interactions. This paper describes a virtual mobility study case, in which 37 students of the Doctorate in Education program of the Cesar Vallejo University of Peru and 31 students of the Master of Education of the Indo-American Technological University of Ecuador participated. I am Coordinator of Education Postgraduate Unit at the Cesar Vallejo University in Peru, and also I am editor of the scientific journal Hamate. Janio Jaden is currently the Director of Research at the Indo-American Technological University, and he is leading projects related to education and disability. Patricia Costa is currently head and member of the research group on Intelligent and Interactive Systems, University of Las Americas from Ecuador. In a time of crisis such as the one that is being experienced globally by the pandemic, which has generated abysmal changes in all academic, professional, labor, economic and social fields, making institutions at all levels rethink their policies, processes and management in general to adapt to this new panorama. Information and Communication Technologies, ICT, have the primacy, being a resource that serves as a medium for relationships and interactions necessary to continue carrying out in all these areas. Education has had to adapt to these new forms of linkage, knowledge transfer, as well as its internationalization and globalization. At the beginning of the 21st century, it was mentioned that education should break all kinds of borders to improve educational quality from various perspectives, and one of the alternatives was academic mobility, student and teacher. It provides possibilities for a holistic knowledge exchange and add value to education by giving it an internationalization connotation. In addition, the possibility to form international academic and research networks or double-degree programs, among others. The implication that ICTs have today, having forced all educational entities to appropriate them, has led to a rethinking of new forms of mobility within the educational field, especially to generate scientific knowledge based on collaboration and cooperation. Teacher and student mobility goes beyond a simple exchange, rather opens institutions to the outside, to promote initiatives for interaction and international cooperation, in all university functions such as teaching, research and extension. This becomes praised in these times of health crisis, when rethinking a change from physical mobility to virtual mobility by having all the tools and resources provided by ICTs within reach. It opens new horizons by emerging as an alternative mobility through virtual environments, since digital transformation offers new scenarios by allowing spaces for collaboration and knowledge production. Academic mobility refers to the fact that it can be carried out by teachers, students, researchers and administrative staff of an educational entity, and represents access to a diversity of knowledge and a variety of contributions to the pedagogical field, as well as promoting the exchange of intercultural experiences. Furthermore, it should be considered that academic mobility is a key point for the internationalization of higher education. Methodology. In order to explore the potential of virtual mobility and the benefits it can bring to the academic, 68 professional and personal training of postgraduate students participated. 37 of them were students of the Doctorate in Education, Cesar Vallejo University of Peru, and 31 students from the Master's degree in Education, Universidad Tecnológica Indo-America of Ecuador. 75% of the participants were female. 3 ranges: 32.1% in the 26 to 30 years range, 21.4% in the 31 to 35 years range, and 17.9% in the 36 to 40 years range. A mixed research, qualitative and quantitative, has been carried out in 4 phases. 1. Conceptual phase, original quantitative or qualitative data. 2. Conceptual phase, data transformation planning, quantitative or qualitative. 3. Methodological empirical phase, data collection and transformation. 4. Analytical empirical phase with data transformation, analysis of results. The study tries to obtain information about the perception of the virtual mobility experience and evaluate the level of motivation and understanding of the subject of gamification, as well as the systematic search for information and the writing of scientific articles. For this purpose, different instruments were designed, which are detailed in table interview with Zoom, record, in which participated 2 teachers. Collaborative mural with Padlet, online, in which participated 25 master and doctorate students. Questionnaire with Mentimeter, online, in which participated 31 master and doctorate students. The study was carried out in 3 phases. A. In the first phase, the two teachers were interviewed using the Zoom video conference platform in order to organize meetings planning and the data collection instruments design. B. In the second phase, the focus was on research in education, for which Padlet was applied to collect research questions related to gamification. Through the video conference chat, a link was sent for the participants to write their opinions. The focus of this phase was qualitative. C. In the third phase, Mentimeter was applied as an instrument to collect the perceptions and opinions of the participants about virtual mobility and the chosen study topic. The focus of this phase was quantitative, results and discussion. The results presented are descriptive in nature based on the design case study. The analysis of the data of the virtual meetings is carried out with a qualitative approach, and a descriptive analysis is used. While the analysis of the data from the simple questions use a quantitative approach and a descriptive statistical analysis. The results obtained are presented in two sections. 1. Motivation and understanding of research in education and 2. Perception of virtual mobility. In the first section, the conclusion that could be observed in the first virtual meeting was the motivation and expectation of the two groups. The keynote that merged the two themes allowed to broaden graduate students' vision, from both the point of view of educational innovation as well as the importance of conducting a systematic search for information. The participants showed great interest in the projects based on gamification, as well as the digital tools that can be used to create novel educational strategies. The reflection that can be noted about the activities carried out in the second meeting is that the motivation to learn new approaches and techniques in the field of research in education persisted, this time from a more rigorous process of research scientific presented by the students of the doctorate in education. The perceptions of the virtual mobility experience have positive aspects, according to the opinions of the informants.
The results of the present study show that virtual mobility enriches the cultural heritage, generates motivation and participation of the students and allows complementing knowledge in different study areas. It was an interesting experience integrating teachers and doctoral students. Firstly, teachers saw the importance of the systematic search for information to build a state-of-the-art of education, and secondly because doctoral students saw educational innovation supported by technology. Virtual mobility becomes relevant at the moment in which the confinement caused by the COVID-19 pandemic begins. Through established collaboration networks or social networks, professionals with expertise in a specific field are known. These spaces provide the opportunity to carry out exchanges and share mobility schemes through technological platforms or telematic means. Ultimately, virtual mobility opens the way to little explored opportunities, by offering access to webinars, courses and exchanges in programs of other institutions that, otherwise, would be physically limited by economic and time factors. For the students it is, without a doubt, a new experience, since they acquire social, intercultural and technological competences, apart from the specific content of the subject of study. These experiences revealed the need to seek new initiatives by authorities and teachers that facilitate the mobility of students and teachers, seeking other ways of innovation, such as virtual meetings. It is important to note that the virtual mobility that is being carried out in our universities is often not initiated by political agreements between government leaders, but rather by bilateral agreements between institutions in the countries, thanks to the personal management of teachers. Here you can see the main bibliographic sources used in the study. Thank you all for your attention. Any question please let us know in the following emails.